This is the video for level 2 paint. The first thing is some classrooms will have squeeze bottles and some will have pumps, but it doesn't matter what it has, these get clogged. There will be one of these undone paper clips. You just don't sit there and squeeze over and over again. It will come out and get all over you. You just put the paper clip inside. Once that's done, the paint will come out. We always work in quarter size amounts of paint. Please wipe off the paper clip, and then there's generally a specific spot that the teacher wants it stored, probably on the drying rack, like just hanging on the edge of the drying rack. Here, I'm gonna make you nauseous and show you. So ours happens to be right there. Then in the paint video, you wanna try several things. One, when you get your paint, you're either doing it on a scrap piece of cardboard, chipboard, or heavyweight paper, or you're doing it on a plate. We'll talk about cleanup in a bit. Then you want to experiment with everything from paint mixing. How do you get different shades of different colors? How do you create different colors? Because in our classes, we only provide you the primary colors, so kind of a refresher. Can I make orange again? Can I make green again? What works best? You know, we have two kinds. We have red and we have magenta. Which one is better for mixing versus which one is better for painting red? Same with blue. We have turquoise and we have blue. Which one makes a stronger green and which one makes a better blue? So make sure you're answering all of those questions. Plus, on a scrap sheet of paper, you need to try out the different brushes. What makes a clean line? Where is it important for my hand to be? Is it what happens if I don't mix my paint before I apply it versus what happens when I fully mix my paint when I apply it? What happens if I paint with too little paint and I'm sitting here trying to stretch it out versus if I take a huge scoop of paint? Am I able to make dots? What happens if I hold the brush straight up and down versus on the side? Then be willing to try out a bunch of different brushes. Different people get a better result from a different brush. And not only the size of the brush, but what the brush is made with. Make sure you do full experimentation and that you have your pencil handy so that you are documenting everything. Watch that you don't find yourself making pretty pictures, because remember, our goal is not to make art. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Our goal is not to make artwork. So this is not what we want to be doing during this time. It's all gonna look like a bunch of mess with pencils lines saying like, ooh, this brush was great for this thing, or this was great for that thing. If you need to refill paint, you want to go to the sink. It takes 2 people to fill a paint container. One holds the container over the sink, the other pours the paint, and then when you get 1 inch from the top, the person holding the container says stop. So you pour like this over the sink until they say 1 inch from the top, you say stop. If you get paint dribbled off, you get a rag, you wipe it off. It's just one's dry. Make sure you fully close the paint cap again. Put this cap back on. This one's different. If this gets wet, first you put the cap on it. Once the cap is securely on, and it should twist several times, then you could run it underwater and wipe all this off. All right, let's transition to how do we clean up. So, at your assigned sink area, go ahead and turn on the sink. You take over all your supplies. Go ahead and put them in the bottom of the sink, and you, with your paint palette on the bottom, unless you are using a disposable one, and you run the brush in your hand until the brush runs clean. Once it runs clean, you have to return the bristles to a nice clean point, and then always store bristle side up. These bigger brushes take longer to clean. So I'm swivel, swivel, swivel until no paint comes out of the brush. Return the brush bristles all going the same direction to clean and store. As you get down to your paint palette, you can use your extra brushes to help wipe that off. Or you can take a rag. You want to make sure you get in all the crevices. And if it bends or wants to break on you, work in the bottom of the sink. Once it's clean, give it a few taps. Now this happens to have acrylic that's dried on there. Goes in the drying rack, making sure we don't leave any brushes in the bottom. Lastly, after everything is clean, you get to clean your hands and the inside of your sink. Don't forget, with cleanup, you do have to come back to your spot. Paint containers get wiped off, restored, the paint goes back away. Anything that you need to keep if it is wet goes on the drying rack. Anything that is trash that has paint on it, please fold it up before putting it in the trash can. And then to clean your table spot, you'll need a dry rag and a wet rag. First, wiping inward, you clean up all the paint. Do not forget to do the ledge. And then lastly, come through with the dry rag. Again, do not forget the edge. If you get paint on your clothes, I have found that Dawn dish soap works the best, but until you get home, put a little bit of this orange Gojo on your stain and it'll help make sure that it doesn't set in. It won't be able to probably take the stain out in class, but it will make sure that it'll be fine until you get home. And then it's important to always wash stains until they're totally gone before you put something in the dryer.